So this week I want to follow on from last week and the fact that, 87% of us have something recycled in our wardrobes. So if that's the case, and that truly is the case, then why not be part of the movement that is getting in there and selling some stuff? This week's podcast, we're keeping it short, we're keeping it simple, and we're talking about reselling your trash into someone else's treasure. I'm Phoebe Blamey, and I am going to take you on a happy money journey. This amazing adventure will change the way that you look at your money. I'm the best-selling author of The Happy Money Journey, and I've been in financial services for over 27 years. I know there's a whole lot of anxiety and stress around money, but if you really want to change the way that you look and deal with your money, then this is the podcast for you. Listen in and let's start your journey. Do you ever get the feeling that there could be a little bit more that you could be doing for the environment, for your money, for just yourself? So I was thinking about the concept. I started actually off thinking about the concept of doughnut economics and moved into that sort of circular economy thinking of how we can stay a bit more sustainable. And this is coming off the back of last week's podcast about one of the stats I think I gave you was 87% of us have something that's pre-loved in our closets. And that's an interesting stat to me because that means today might be your trash is going to be someone else's treasure. So today, let's talk about the circular economy, doughnut economics, and how to make a very small contribution to a greater good. And this is where I'm coming from. Doughnut economics is the concept that was made famous, I guess, by Kate. Oh, what's her last name? Raworth, I think. I will put it in the show notes for you. Don't get too caught up on who invented it, but it's a really great book about how we could be living a better life and how we could be living a more sustainable life that doesn't focus on growth and GDP, but focuses on us as having a great minimum living standard. And by us, I mean everyone across the world having a great minimum living standard and also doing something that's keeping our planet safe and healthy and good and doing sustainable things. The way that we live is the donut in the middle. So in the center of the where the first circle is, that first circle is a minimum living standard and the second circle is the environment. And we live in between a minimum living standard and a sustainable environment. And one of the ways that we do that is rather than continuing to manufacture more and more and more, we get into an economy that actually recycles and reproduces, and we can do that on a really small level and keep things still going around in that circular kind of mindset. So one of the really easy ways to do it is when you have finished with something, when you are no longer using something, put it on Marketplace, put it on eBay, put it on Gumtree, do something to get it out of your house and into someone who's going to use it. And that could be, I don't know, what are some of the things that I've got in my house that I no longer use? I've got a dehumidifier that I hardly ever use. I've got a kombucha maker that was given to me as a gift. Thank you so much for giving it to me, but I am not a kombucha making person. My mother went molded. You have this thing called a mother, and mine went moldy within days. It's just, the whole thing was a complete disaster. I have a little machine a dehydrating machine. I've got a whole lot of that sort of stuff that I just don't use. So what if I collected all that stuff, put it on Marketplace, put it on eBay, and gave it to someone who would just really appreciate it and really use it, rather than it sitting there gathering dust? So take a moment and have a thought of what are some of the things, hobbies that you've had in the past, things that you no longer need. Have you got a garage full of crap that just needs to be cleaned out? Because when we start cleaning those things out, it also gives us a bit more energy around us. We're stopping hoarding stuff and just getting things out and into the universe and back into making someone else's life better, basically, without needing to manufacture more, because if we all do a little bit, then it creates a movement. It creates a different way of thinking. Same with our clothes. If your clothes are in really good condition and you just don't like them anymore, there are so many things you can do with them. So let's start by designer clothes, into a designer clothes shop where you'll get on consignment your money back, putting it on eBay, putting it on Marketplace if you can be bothered doing that. I'm for the stores, because if I give it to the store, then they'll give me the money for it. I don't have to be fussing around with eBay and Marketplace and all of those sort of things. But if you are not time poor, you will make so much more money doing it the other way. So getting it out, getting it onto eBay, getting it onto Marketplace, then maybe thinking about the other things that you've got that maybe aren't saleable but still in very good condition, can be donated directly to, there's Fit for Work, there's a whole lot of places that you can go, Anglicare, where they do specific programs around getting people back into the workforce. So if you've got those sort of clothes are greatly appreciated. Not shit that's got holes in it, that's dirty, that's stretched, that doesn't work anymore. Those things, unfortunately, are destined to become either landfill or rags. If you can cut them up and make them into rags that you can use at home, then that's great too. What I'm thinking is that we just need to be a little bit more conscious about where things are going. Same if you need a new outfit. If you need a new outfit, why are we going to somewhere new when we can go to somewhere secondhand? And we can go and have a look at what they've got first. And if you can't find it, you can't find it. If you can't find your size, your style, all of those things. But I think I mentioned in the last podcast, I've got 5 or 6 of those recycling shops around me that are high-end designer clothes, good sizing, all the things that you could possibly need in really good condition, because they tend to be the things that people wear maybe once or twice. So absolutely worth considering going to those sort of places as well. And finally, just the concept of making a little bit more money off the things that you've already got. So, it doesn't just help the people that are getting it, it helps you as well. Gives you a little bit of spare change, gives you a little bit of extra. So the way to get into it first, because when you first start going to those secondhand places and going to the op shops and all that sort of stuff, it's actually really daunting, because you don't know what you're looking for. You don't know how to find a bargain. You look and you just think there are thousands and thousands and thousands of things here, most of which I don't need. So shop carefully, and shop really consciously. So when you go out shopping, you know what you want. Same as we did last week, just that same concept. When you are looking for a buyer for something, make sure you're putting it in the right place. So Marketplace is full of old furniture, and a lot of people offer their furniture for free or near free just because they want it taken away. So if you're going to offer something that has value to you, make sure that you're looking around and comparing the prices of what other people are willing to pay for these things. Same with eBay. What I found with putting things on either of those platforms is there are a lot of people out there who do this really strange thing where they say, "Oh, is your treadmill still for sale?" And I say, "Yes." And they say, "I can't come and pick it up, but my brother can." And you go, "Okay, I care who picks it up." And then they say, "But do you have PayID?" And you say, "Yes." And they say, "Okay." And then this mysterious brother, uncle, friend, whatever is meant to come along and pay. And they offer to pay for it up front. And the whole thing is this bizarro scam where they get you to eventually spend $1 or $10 or whatever paying them into their PayID, which of course disappears and you never see again. And I found all that sort of stuff immensely irritating. So what I found was, if you are wanting to sell something specific, there will be a Facebook group for it. So there's a Facebook group for locals, but there's also a Facebook group for gym equipment, or a Facebook group for kombucha makers, or a Facebook group for dehydrators. Whatever it's going to be, there'll be a Facebook group for it. So find the Facebook group and sell through that, because it made it so much easier, and I didn't have to worry about all these scammy people who I didn't think were scammy people at first, but because they didn't appear to be. But yeah, definitely a lot of scams out there, so be careful. Don't accept payment up front. If they've got PayID, they can do it when they see you and they take the item away. So anyway, that's my thoughts on how we can be a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more conscious. If you've got anything to add to that, I would love to hear it. But let's just quickly recap. Buying and selling secondhand, why not? Use shops, use eBay, use Marketplace. Your trash is someone else's treasure, so let them treasure it for you for a while. Keeping in that concept of a circular economy, of the donut economics of trying to, as we consume consciously, will actually save you money and bring a kind of joy to your life. So absolutely worth doing. And of course, when you're selling stuff online, be really careful of scammers. Thanks for joining me today. It is always has been an absolute pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much, and I will catch you again next week. We pay our respects to the ancestors and elders past, present and emerging. We're grateful and honoured to live on this land and pay homage to the traditions of storytelling communities and connection to the land. Today we're recording from the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Just a reminder to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed listening to today's podcast. And if you'd like to see more of us, you can find us at phoebeblamey.com.au, or you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram as The Happy Money Journey. We'd love you to get in touch with us and hear your thoughts around money and all things to do with your happy money journey. Have a great week, and we'll catch you again next time. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's general in nature, it doesn't take into account your individual needs and circumstances, and we always recommend seeking the advice of a professional before making any financial decisions.